The Emperor stood alone in his throne room, watching his empire crumble through the massive viewscreen. In just 6 months since Earth's victory, 50 worlds had declared independence. Imperial control was failing everywhere. Your Excellence. A nervous aide entered. The Earth fleet. They'd been spotted near the capital system. For the first time in the Empire's history, its heart was threatened. But this was no ordinary attack force. Earth led a coalition fleet of ships from 20 freed worlds, each vessel enhanced with humanity's improved technology. Admiral Porter stood on the bridge of Earth's new flagship, Freedom's Dawn. Next to him, Commander Gray served as his advisor, knowing every weakness in the capital's defenses. The Emperor has gathered his remaining loyal ships, Gray reported. 2,000 vessels defending the capital. Porter nodded. And we have 1,500. But numbers aren't everything. They never were. The coalition fleet emerged from quantum space using Earth's advanced drive technology. Unlike the Empire's predictable formations, they appeared in a complex three-dimensional pattern that confused Imperial targeting systems. All ships, execute Operation Endgame, Porter commanded. The battle for the Imperial capital began. Earth's tactics had evolved even further. Their ships now used quantum linking to coordinate perfectly, moving like dancers in a deadly ballet. Each freed world had added their own innovations to Earth's improvements. The Emperor watched in horror as his defensive lines crumbled. Ships from worlds he had conquered for centuries now turned his own weapons against him, but better, stronger, more creative. Launch everything we have, he commanded. We cannot lose the capital. But the Empire had already lost something more important, its aura of invincibility. Every freed world that joined the battle brought new determination, new ideas, new ways of fighting that the rigid Imperial doctrine couldn't counter. The battle reached its peak above the capital world's largest city. The Emperor's personal guard of 100 ships fought to the end, but they were facing enemies who had spent centuries learning their weaknesses. Your Excellence, the Imperial Guard commander called. You must evacuate. The palace defenses are failing. But there was nowhere left to run. Earth's quantum gate technology had spread throughout the galaxy. Every escape route could be blocked instantly. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Dr. Emma Reed monitored the battle through their quantum network. Imperial resistance is collapsing across all sectors, she reported to the United Earth Council. The revolution has reached 98 star systems. The final push came not from Earth's ships, but from the capital world's own people. Seeing the Empire's defeat, they rose up. Imperial troops found themselves facing citizens armed with modified versions of their own weapons. Commander Gray led the final assault on the Imperial Palace. The same halls he had once walked as a loyal officer now echoed with the sound of revolution. The Emperor was found in his throne room, still proud even in defeat. How? He asked Gray. How did one primitive world do all this? You don't understand humanity, Gray replied. Every time you pushed us down, we learned. Every weapon you used against us, we made better. That's something the Empire forgot how to do long ago. Admiral Porter arrived to accept the Emperor's surrender. The terms were simple. The Empire would be dissolved. Each world would choose its own path. A new Galactic Council would be formed, with every world having an equal voice. Earth doesn't want an empire, Porter explained to the assembled representatives of freed worlds. We just want a galaxy where every species can grow, innovate, and live freely. 1 month later, Porter stood before the first meeting of the new Galactic Council. Representatives from 300 worlds filled the chamber, former Imperial worlds, independent systems, and new allies. The Empire's greatest mistake, he told them, wasn't attacking Earth. It was believing that conquest brings strength. Real strength comes from freedom, the freedom to think differently, to improve, to innovate. Earth didn't just defeat the Empire. We showed the galaxy a better way. As the Council began its work, ships from Earth traveled the stars, sharing knowledge and technology. The age of the Empire was over. A new age of freedom, innovation, and cooperation had begun. And it all started because one small blue world dared to say no to an empire. News travels fast, even in the vastness of space. Word of Earth's victory spread through the empire like wildfire. On 1,000 conquered worlds, people whispered about the small blue planet that had humbled the mighty Imperial fleet. In a secret meeting room on the desert world of New Mars, one of the Empire's oldest colonies, Commander Gray met with resistance leaders from 12 different worlds. The room was hidden deep underground, safe from Imperial sensors. Earth didn't just beat them, Gray explained, showing holographic recordings of the battles. They outsmarted them, and everything they used, they learned from studying Imperial technology. A resistance leader from a water world leaned forward, her gills fluttering with excitement. Can they teach us? Better. Gray smiled. They're willing to help us. All of us. Above them, on New Mars' surface, Imperial propaganda broadcasts showed a very different story. They claimed Earth had been contained, that the Empire was stronger than ever. But the people knew better. They had seen the broken Imperial ships limping home, had watched their mighty overlords retreat in defeat. On Earth, Admiral Porter stood before the United Earth Council with a new proposal. We've received messages from 20 different worlds, he said. They all want the same thing: freedom. The council chamber's main screen showed maps of nearby star systems. Red dots marked Imperial strongholds, while blue dots showed worlds ready to revolt. Dr. Emma Reed stepped forward. We've already started sharing our shield technology with trusted resistance groups. The Empire's greatest weakness is their belief that their technology can't be improved upon. We've proved them wrong. It's risky, a council member warned. The Empire still has thousands of ships. Had thousands of ships, Porter corrected. They lost more than half their fleet in the last battle. And their remaining ships are scattered, trying to maintain control over too many worlds. On the Imperial capital world, the Emperor faced a crisis. Reports of unrest came from every sector. Minor rebellions had always existed, but now they were organizing, sharing information, and using tactics similar to Earth's. How are they communicating? The Emperor demanded of his intelligence chief. How are they learning these things? The intelligence chief, an alien with crystalline skin, flickered nervously. We believe they're using quantum-linked communications, like Earth. We can't intercept or block them. The Emperor's rage was terrible to behold. But for the first time, his advisors saw something else in his eyes. Fear. Back on New Mars, Gray prepared to send another secret transmission to Earth. His quarters were filled with technical data about Imperial defense systems, weaknesses he'd discovered during his years of service. A soft alarm warned him of approaching Imperial patrols. He quickly encrypted the data and sent it through the quantum link Earth had provided. As the patrol passed, Gray smiled, remembering Porter's words. The Empire's greatest weakness is their predictability. In Earth's Defense Command, Porter reviewed Gray's latest intelligence. The Empire's losing control, he told his staff. 3 more worlds have openly declared independence this week. Emma pulled up a simulation showing the spread of Earth's advanced technology through former Imperial space. Our improved versions of their tech are spreading faster than they can stop it. The quantum communication network now reaches 30 star systems. And the Empire can't track it, Porter added. They don't even understand how we modify their own technology. A junior officer rushed in with urgent news. Sir, the Centauri colonies have just overthrown their Imperial governors. They're requesting immediate assistance. Porter nodded. This was what they'd been waiting for. The first dominoes were falling. Send the aid package we prepared. And make sure they get the full technical database. As Earth's ships prepared to help their first interstellar allies, Porter looked out at the stars. The Empire had ruled through fear and technological superiority. But they'd forgotten the most important lesson. Give humans any tool, and they'll find a way to make it better. The revolution was spreading, and this time, the Empire couldn't stop it. Because you can't fight an enemy that turns your own strength against you, and you can't defeat people who refuse to be ruled. The Emperor was furious. For the first time in 300 years, the imperial palace on Capital World shook with his rage. Before him knelt Admiral Stone, his once pristine uniform, now wrinkled from his time in Earth's custody. "You lost 60 ships." The Emperor's voice was deadly quiet. "To a single primitive world." "They're not primitive, Your Excellence," Stone whispered. "They've been hiding their true strength. Their technology." Silence. The Emperor turned to his war council. "Prepare the Grand Fleet. All of it." The council members gasped. The Grand Fleet had never been fully deployed before. 5,000 ships, the Empire's full military might. Meanwhile, in Earth's Defense Command, Admiral Porter studied the long-range sensor data. "They're gathering everything they have." He told the United Earth Council, "This is their full strength." "Can we survive this?" one of the council members asked. Porter nodded to Dr. Emma Reed, who stepped forward with new holographic projections. "We've learned more from the captured ships," she said, "and we've prepared something special." The hologram showed Earth's latest weapon, a network of quantum-linked gates throughout the solar system. "We can't match their numbers," Emma explained, "but we can be everywhere at once." 2 weeks later, the Grand Fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. It was an awesome sight. 5,000 warships stretching across space like a metal galaxy. The new Imperial Fleet Commander, an alien being known only as the War Master, sent a simple message: "Surrender or be destroyed. You have 1 hour." Porter's reply was even shorter: "Come and try." The battle began with the Empire's standard overwhelming force approach. Thousands of ships surged forward, expecting to crush Earth's defenses through sheer numbers. Instead, they found an empty solar system. All of Earth's ships and stations had vanished. "Where are they?" the War Master demanded. The answer came suddenly and violently. Earth's quantum gate network activated. Ships appeared out of nowhere, struck hard, and vanished again before the Empire could respond. The same Earth vessel could attack in multiple places almost simultaneously, jumping through the linked gates faster than the Imperial ships could track. "They're using some kind of teleportation technology," an Imperial officer shouted. The War Master watched in growing horror as his mighty fleet was picked apart by what seemed like ghosts. Earth vessels would appear behind Imperial ships, disable their engines with micro-robot swarms, and vanish before the Empire could return fire. "Our formation is broken," someone reported. "We can't maintain battle lines if we can't predict where they'll attack." The Empire's rigid battle doctrine, unchanged for centuries, proved useless against Earth's fluid, unpredictable tactics. Their huge ships, designed for grand battles in open space, were now liabilities. Then Earth revealed its master stroke. The quantum gates suddenly began moving, creating a massive web that trapped Imperial ships in small groups. Each isolated group faced overwhelming fire from Earth's forces before they could regroup. "This is impossible," the War Master raged. "They're making a mockery of Imperial tactics." Commander Gray, watching from a captured Imperial ship now serving Earth, smiled grimly. "No, they're just fighting smarter. The Empire forgot how to adapt. Humanity never did." The battle raged for 3 days. The Empire lost ships by the hundreds, then thousands. Their mighty fleet, unstoppable for centuries, was being destroyed by an enemy they couldn't even fight properly. Finally, with over half his ships destroyed or captured, the War Master did something unprecedented. He ordered a full retreat. As the remaining Imperial ships fled, Porter gathered his command staff. The victory had cost them too. Dozens of ships destroyed, hundreds of good people lost. But Earth still stood free. "They'll be back," Emma said, looking at the sensor readings of the retreating fleet. "Yes," Porter agreed. "But next time we'll be even stronger. Every ship they lost is another ship we can study. Every tactic they showed us is another weakness we can exploit." The stars seemed brighter that night as Earth celebrated its greatest victory. The Empire had struck with everything it had and failed. Now the whole galaxy would know. Earth was not just another conquest. It was humanity's home, and humanity would die before giving it up. The Imperial High Command was not pleased. On the massive command ship Emperor's Will, Admiral John Stone, the highest-ranking human in the Imperial fleet, paced before a holographic display of the solar system. 100 ships, he announced to the gathered commanders. The largest disciplinary fleet assembled in 50 years. Earth's defiance ends today. Commander Gray stood quietly at the back of the room. He had been demoted after his failed attack, but kept around for his knowledge of Earth's capabilities. Sir, I recommend caution. Their technology. Silence. Stone snapped. You had your chance. Now watch how a real Imperial commander handles these rebels. The Imperial fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel near Saturn, their ships arranged in the traditional arrow formation. The ships were bigger this time, heavy battlecruisers meant for planetary sieges. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Porter watched them arrive. They're making this too easy, he said to his staff. Begin Operation Hornet's Nest. Throughout the asteroid belt, hidden mining stations suddenly activated. Each one released clouds of what looked like simple space dust. But this dust was actually millions of microscopic robots, each one carrying a tiny quantum charge. The Imperial fleet pushed forward, their sensors detecting nothing dangerous about the dust. That was their first mistake. All ships, begin the advance, Admiral Stone commanded. Show these Earth rebels what real power looks like. As the Imperial ships entered the dust cloud, the trap was sprung. Each microscopic robot attached itself to the ship's hulls. Alone, they were harmless. Together, they formed massive networks of quantum-linked computers. Sir, an Imperial technician shouted, our systems are being overridden. Through the vast network of micro-robots, Earth's AI systems poured into the Imperial ship's computers. Weapons systems shut down. Engines sputtered. Communications went dark. Stone watched in horror as ship after ship lost power. Impossible. Their technology can't be this advanced. That's when Earth's main fleet revealed itself. Unlike the Imperial ship's brute force approach, Earth's vessels were smaller, faster, and piloted by both humans and AI. They emerged from hiding spots inside hollow asteroids, their quantum shields making them nearly invisible until the last moment. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Porter commanded. Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination. They didn't try to match the Empire's superior firepower. Instead, they used their speed and maneuverability to pick apart the larger, slower Imperial vessels. The space around Saturn lit up with energy weapons and explosions. Imperial ships, still struggling with the micro-robot infection, couldn't coordinate their defense. Earth's vessels darted between them, firing precisely at weak points that only their detailed study of Imperial technology had revealed. Commander Gray watched from his position on the flagship as the Imperial formation fell apart. Sir, he said to Admiral Stone, we need to retreat. We can't win this fight. Retreat. Stone turned on him in fury. The Empire doesn't retreat. At that moment, their flagship's power grid failed completely, taken over by Earth's eye. The mighty Emperor's Will drifted helplessly in space. This is Admiral Porter to Imperial Fleet. A message came through on all channels. Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are offline. Surrender or be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to decide. Stone stood frozen, his face pale with shock and rage. But Gray stepped forward and took command. This is Commander Gray. We surrender. Our fleet stands down. The battle was over. Of the 100 ships that entered the solar system, 30 were destroyed, 60 were captured, and only 10 managed to escape. In the aftermath, as Earth forces secured the captured Imperial vessels, Porter met with his command staff. The Empire will see this as just the beginning, he said. They'll come back with everything they have. Dr. Emma Reed, who had joined them from the vault, pulled up new schematics on the display. Good, because we're just getting started too. Wait until they see what we've learned from these new ships. Porter smiled. The Empire thought they were punishing a rebellious planet. Instead, they'd just given us more tools to fight them with. Humanity has always been good at learning from our enemies. As cleanup operations began around Saturn's rings, the news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, someone had stood up to the Empire, and won. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility known only as the Vault, Dr. Emma Reed walked through rows of alien technology. Each piece had been carefully recovered, studied, and improved upon over the past 70 years. The Empire has no idea what we've learned from these, she said to Admiral Porter, who followed behind her. Her footsteps echoed off the steel walls as they passed pieces of crashed ships, strange devices, and experimental weapons. Show me our best advantage, Porter said. Time was running out. Imperial ships had been gathering beyond Pluto for the past week. Emma led him to a massive hangar. Inside, hundreds of small, dart-shaped vessels hung from the ceiling. These are our secret weapon. We call them the Swarm. They look tiny, Porter observed. That's the point. Emma touched a control panel, and one of the darts lit up with a blue glow. We took the Empire's shield technology and reversed it. Instead of keeping things out, these darts can pass through any shield by matching its frequency. And the best part, they're controlled by our AI systems. Porter walked around one of the darts. How many do we have? 10,000, all hidden in bases across the solar system. Emma smiled. And that's just the beginning. In another part of the facility, engineers worked on what looked like massive mirrors. Solar collectors, Porter asked. Better. We combined Imperial energy weapons with human focusing technology. These can redirect the sun's energy into a weapon. The Empire thinks they're just orbital solar panels for our cities. Alarms suddenly blared through the facility. Porter's communication device lit up with urgent messages. They're making their first move, he said grimly. Time to show them what we've got. In space, near Jupiter's orbit, an Imperial battle group of 20 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They were a standard pacification force, sent to demonstrate the Empire's power. Commander Gray watched from the flagship's bridge. Begin the attack run. Show these humans what real power looks like. The Imperial ships charged their main weapons, preparing to destroy Jupiter's defense stations as a warning to Earth. But something was wrong. Commander, his sensor officer called out. The defense platforms. They're gone. What? Gray rushed to the screen. The stations they detected earlier had vanished. Impossible. Find them. Suddenly, space itself seemed to shimmer. The empty areas around his ships rippled, and dozens of defense platforms appeared, their camouflage systems deactivating. Earth had perfected the Empire's own stealth technology. Open fire, Gray ordered, but it was too late. The platforms released swarms of the tiny dart ships. Imperial shields, designed to stop large energy weapons, were useless against these small, adaptive fighters. They passed through as if the shields didn't exist. How are they penetrating our defenses? Gray demanded. His ship shuddered as the darts attached themselves to the hull. Instead of explosives, they carried quantum resonance devices. The Empire's advanced hull metal began to vibrate at the atomic level. Multiple hull breaches. The damage control officer shouted. The metal is falling apart. Gray watched in horror as 3 of his ships literally disintegrated, their atoms losing cohesion. Others spun out of control as their systems were invaded by Earth's advanced AI programs, which were unlike anything the Empire had encountered. Fall back, Gray ordered. Emergency retreat. As his battle group fled, they passed through a field of those mysterious solar panels. Suddenly, Focused beams of solar plasma lanced out, melting through Imperial armor like paper. The battle lasted less than an hour. Of the 20 ships that attacked, only 5 escaped. Back in the vault, Porter watched the battle recordings with Earth's military council. The Empire thought we'd just been sitting here, waiting to be conquered, he said. They never considered that we'd take their crashed ships and improve upon them. Human creativity combined with alien tech, it's a powerful combination. Emma pointed to new sensor readings. They'll be back, with a bigger fleet this time. Porter nodded. Good, because we have plenty more surprises waiting. The Empire's about to learn that sometimes the best technology isn't the newest, it's the most creatively used. Throughout the solar system, more hidden weapons and defense systems waited, each one combining human innovation with reversed engineered alien technology. The Empire had no idea that their simple conquest was about to become their worst nightmare. 3 days after first contact, the Empire's diplomatic vessel approached Earth's orbit. It was smaller than their warships, but no less impressive, its silver hull gleaming in the sunlight. The United Earth Defense Council had chosen the neutral ground of the International Space Station Alpha for the meeting. Admiral Porter stood at the station's observation window, watching the Imperial ship dock. Behind him, 12 screens showed the faces of Earth's leaders, watching from secure locations around the planet. They're here to make demands, not negotiate, Porter said to the screens. But we're ready. The station's airlock cycled, and Commander Marcus Gray stepped through. He wore no spacesuit, only a crisp black uniform with gold trim. 2 guards in powered armor flanked him. Welcome to Earth Space Station Alpha, Porter said, extending his hand in greeting. Gray ignored the gesture. I speak with the full authority of the Galactic Empire, he announced. I am here to outline the terms of your integration into our civilization. Porter's hand dropped, but his polite smile remained. Please, have a seat. They sat at a simple white table. Through the window behind them, Earth hung like a blue jewel in space. The Empire, Gray began, spans 10,000 worlds. We bring order, technology, and prosperity to all species worthy of joining us. Earth has shown unexpected advancement. This pleases the Emperor. Your transition into the Empire will be smoother than most. Porter's smile didn't waver. And if we decline? Gray's expression hardened. That would be unwise. The Empire does not leave advanced civilizations outside its control. You have 2 options. Join us willingly and maintain some autonomy, or resist and be conquered. Those who resist do not fare well. I see. Porter pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared between them, showing the solar system. Let me show you something, Commander. The hologram zoomed in on the asteroid belt. Thousands of small dots lit up, each representing a weapons platform or defense satellite. We've had 70 years to prepare, Porter said. Ever since we found that crashed scout ship in Russia. Your technology is impressive, but we've made our own improvements. Gray's eyes widened slightly. The Lost Patrol. We thought they hit a stellar anomaly. No, we learned a lot from that ship. And others. Porter leaned forward. Here are our terms. The entire solar system, from the sun to the Oort cloud, is sovereign Earth territory. We are willing to trade, to engage in cultural exchange, even to discuss limited military cooperation against mutual threats. But we will not submit to Empire rule. Gray stood up so fast his chair tipped over. You dare dictate terms to the Empire. Our smallest fleet could reduce your cities to ash. Could they? Porter remained seated, calm. Your scans can't penetrate our shields. You don't know what weapons we have. Are you willing to risk an Imperial fleet to find out? The screens behind Porter lit up one by one. Each showed massive defense platforms emerging from hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and various asteroids. Energy readings spiked across the system as more defensive systems revealed themselves. This is your formal notice, Commander, Porter said. Earth declares itself off limits to Imperial expansion. Spread the word. This system is closed to the Empire. Gray's face flushed with anger. The Empire has never accepted such demands from anyone. Then we'll be the first. Porter finally stood. You have 24 hours to withdraw your ships beyond Pluto's orbit. After that, we will consider any Imperial military vessel in our space an act of war. You'll regret this defiance, Gray snarled. But as he turned to leave, his eyes lingered on the defense platform displays. For the first time in his Imperial career, he felt something he'd never expected: doubt. As the airlock cycled behind Gray, Porter turned to the screens. Well, that went about as expected. They'll attack, one of the leaders said. Porter nodded. Yes, but thanks to those crashed ships and our preparation, we'll be ready. Humanity has never been good at taking orders from empires. They're about to learn it the hard way. In the Imperial ship, Gray drafted his report to the Empire's Central Command. His hand shook slightly as he typed. Earth situation unprecedented. Recommend full battle fleet deployment. These humans, they're different. The massive screen in Earth's deep space monitoring station lit up with hundreds of red dots. Tom Wilson, the lead operator, blinked twice and leaned forward in his chair. In his 15 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. Sir, he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. You need to see this. Station Chief Robert Adams walked over, coffee cup in hand. The moment he saw the screen, the cup slipped from his fingers and shattered on the floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. How many? Adams whispered. Over 300 vessels, sir. They just appeared at the edge of our detection range near Pluto. They're using some kind of propulsion we've never seen before. Adams reached for the red phone that connected directly to the United Earth Defense Council. Get me Admiral Porter. Priority Alpha. Within hours, the council chamber was filled with military leaders from every major nation. Admiral James Porter stood at the central podium, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of the approaching fleet. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, what we're seeing is clearly not human in origin. Based on their formation and speed, this is an organized fleet, not a random group of ships. We're looking at humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and they're coming in with enough firepower to level a continent. The room erupted in worried murmurs. Porter raised his hand for silence. But we're not defenseless. For the past 50 years, we've been preparing for this possibility. Operation Watchman is now active. Around the solar system, hidden defense platforms began powering up. Quantum-linked shields shimmed into existence around major cities. In the asteroid belt, automated mining stations transformed into weapon platforms. Earth had kept its true technological level hidden, waiting for this day. The alien fleet's first scouts entered the Mars orbit. They were sleek ships, their hulls covered in what looked like liquid metal. They moved with impossible grace, clearly expecting no resistance. What they found instead was a wall of energy shields spanning the orbital path of Mars. Their scans bounced off harmlessly, unable to penetrate Earth's quantum-shifted defenses. In the lead scout ship, Imperial Commander Marcus Gray stood on his bridge, frowning at the readings. His pale skin and human features marked him as a descendant of one of the Empire's first conquered worlds. Impossible, he muttered. These readings suggest shield technology beyond even Imperial standards. How can a pre-FTL civilization have such defenses? His second-in-command, a being of pure energy contained in a humanoid suit, displayed patterns of confused colors. Commander, we're detecting numerous defense platforms. They appear to be armed. Gray's frown deepened. Every other world the Empire had encountered at this stage of development had been helpless against their might. This was unprecedented. Back on Earth, Admiral Porter watched the alien scouts probe their defenses. Send the message, he ordered. Throughout the solar system, on every frequency, and using universal mathematical language, Earth broadcast its first message to the stars. This is the United Earth Defense Council. You have entered sovereign Earth space. Your presence has been noted and your weapons detected. Be advised, this solar system is under our protection. Any hostile action will be met with appropriate force. We are willing to open diplomatic channels, but we will not be intimidated. In his ship, Commander Gray received the transmission and actually laughed. In 300 years of Imperial expansion, no one had ever dared to speak to them this way. He prepared the standard Imperial response, a demand for immediate surrender and submission to Imperial rule. But as he watched his scans fail again and again to penetrate Earth's defenses, a small doubt crept into his mind. His ancestors' world had fallen easily to the Empire. Every world did. But something about Earth was different. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to witness the Empire's first real challenge in centuries, and it would change the galaxy forever.